Well, hello Clan TST and YouTube watchers. It's Saturday, about 80 degrees out. The end of April was the end of my 4th month of traditional instinctive archery. Like I said, it's a little warm out, but I'm not going to complain too much. My wife, who's a firefighter, is actually out on the fire line right now in about 100 pounds of gear, 80-degree weather, and battling a fire. So I'm out here shooting arrows, so I really can't complain. Now, being new to instinctive and traditional archery, I don't really have a whole lot to share with you on shooting and such, but I do have some advice, a couple of things that I've noticed, and that is that people are getting into archery for the first time, into instinctive archery, is they're spending a ton of money on equipment, gear. They're buying custom and semi-custom bows, and it just baffles me. They don't even know at this point if they're going to stick with the sport, or what their proper poundage is, or anything. I mean, and they're forking out good money. I saw somebody the other day who just bought a 30-pound semi-custom bow. This is a man, and you know within 2 or 3 months he's going to be shooting 45, 50. But he just doled out a bunch of money on a 30-pound bow, and it just blows me away. I picked up this dark Damon Howitt Hunter, Me Plus Ultra. It was made in 1969, and got it on eBay for 165 bucks. It's 45 pounds. This tab, 7, 8 bucks. Forearm guard, made it myself. Went over and bought half of a cow's back and some ornaments to use to latch it. Quiver, that same cow's back. Made the belt for the quiver, made the quiver, everything. Got the ornamentation for it, buckles for it. This quiver probably cost me 75 bucks to make. So I mean, the most expensive thing I have besides my bow are these arrows I got from Kaz Custom Arrows, and even they were a good deal. I mean, I got these for 110 bucks with Kaz fletching them, and those of you that are buying arrows know that these GT 3555 traditionals, they run about 100 bucks unfletched for just bare shafts for a dozen. So for another 10 bucks, I had Kaz fletching them and mailing them to me. I guess my point is before you go out and spend a ton of money, you can get into the sport for under 400 bucks. And that includes my other bow, my starter bow, which was a 40-pound Darton that was made in 1970. I shot that for 3 months before I picked this up for myself. It just seems kind of crazy to me to be doling out that kind of cash on something that you're not even sure about at this point. So if you're just getting into instinctive and traditional archery, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just frugal and then you got cash to burn or whatever, but man, you can get into this sport for so much less and get some really good quality bows. This Damon Howitt bow was made in '69 by Damon Howitt in Yakima, Washington, who was a well-known bowyer at the time for quality bows and good straight shooting bows. And this thing, yeah, it's 35 years old, but it shoots great. The limbs are straight, no twists. I don't know. The other piece of advice is this past month has really been kind of a crazy month for me in learning traditional and instinctive archery. The first 3 months I kind of just kept it real simple. I spent probably the whole first month not even shooting an arrow. I just had my 40-pound bow, and I was just, every night I would pull it back 100 times, and just, so I did that for 10 nights. So I did it 1,000 times. I came out here and I shot into the blanket for, gosh, I don't know, a week straight, every day after work. And then I finally put an arrow in it and shot it, and did fairly good because I had already trained some muscle memory and some form into what I was doing. Well, in this past month, pretty much everything that I had focused on and worked on, I kind of discarded, because as a new archer, I'm kind of anxious to learn more and improve. And so what I did is I started listening to a ton of advice, and there's a lot of great advice out there. The problem is, though, is that that advice, even though it's good advice, it doesn't always apply to each person equally. What may work for one person doesn't work for another person. So for this last month, I've kind of tried just about every bit of advice, and some of the things that I did just made me shoot horrible, and some of the things I did improved me. But one video in particular really made me just stop and kind of revisit where I was. Gray Archer was the first one who inspired me to get into traditional archery, and so for the first 3 months I pretty much went with what Gray Archer was showing and doing, and it worked really well for me. But in this past month, like I said, I tried a whole bunch of things with hit and miss. But then the next video came along, which was from Wolfie Hughes, who really just kind of broke down the stance, the form, the draw of a bare bones basic stance. No bending, no crouching, no anything, just a bare bones basic stance. Which is why I had to make this, because up until I started trying that stance, I never hit my form, except for on very rare occasions, and I was beating the crap out of it. Not so bad now that I'm getting better with the form. I just shot a couple of arrows and let you see them. I've been shooting with that stance since the first day that Wolfie posted up that video, so this is all pretty new to me. That's been about, I don't know, a week that I've been shooting with the new stance. And the two things I notice most is that my arrows are much more consistent than they were before. My aim's not any better, but my consistency's a lot better. And my 45-pound bow feels light now, because like Wolfie and Jeff and a couple other people were talking about, I'm engaging those back muscles. I'm using my back muscles, and before I was coming up like this, and I really wasn't getting the back muscles into it. Whereas now, stretched out, I'm really getting those back muscles into it. So I've kind of been toying with the idea of going up to a 50-pound bow, but you know, I'm 46, not getting any younger, and I am still new to this, so I think I'm going to stick with the 45. I think 45 is plenty of bow for me, and will be plenty of bow for me for a long time. So before I throw down, you know, a ton of cash on one of those semi-custom or custom bows, I'm going to stick with this Damon Howlett for probably a good 2 years, until I know every time I draw back and release, I'm going to be within 2 to 3 inches of what I'm shooting at, anywhere from 10 to 40 meters. That's when I'll make the investment in a really nice semi-custom or custom bow. But those are the two pieces of advice that I can give as a new archer. Not really much on shooting techniques themselves, but just, you know, there's a ton of great advice out there, and it all is good advice. None of it's bad advice. It's just whether or not that particular piece of advice works for you or not, works with your body type, your body style, your shooting style, your eyes, your frame, whatever. A couple of really basic things do work for me. A couple of things that were out there did not work for me at all. And the other thing is, you know, you don't have to spend a ton of money to get into this sport and love it and enjoy it. And if you do spend a ton of money and find out 6 months down the road that you really don't have the passion or the commitment for it, you're out that money. I mean, it's kind of like a new car, man. When you drive it off the lot, it drops 25–30% in value right off the bat. It's the same with this archery equipment. Don't be too proud to go to eBay. I'm watching 6 30-pound bows right now on eBay, bare, and some Ben Pearsons and a Damon Howlett. My daughter's coming home from Missouri State this summer, so I'm looking for a 30-pound bow for her. She shoots compound right now, and I want her to shoot traditional with me. So I'm just looking for a 30-pound bow for her. And I can easily, every one of those 6 bows I just mentioned, with shipping, is under $100. Under $100. And they're all from quality known name brand manufacturers. Yes, you gotta ask questions. Yes, you gotta look at the pictures, but I haven't bought a bad bow yet, and I bought 2 from eBay. And I'm pretty sure that the one I buy for her will be in good shape too. So that's it for now. See you guys on the tube and on the Clan TST, and I wish you all the best and have lots of fun with this.